Welcome to my review of The Guest. The Guest is directed by Adam Wingard. It stars Dan Stevens and a bunch of other very talented actors and actresses. Now, the premise of this movie follows the story of a soldier named David. He goes to the home of one of his ex-soldier friends from the military. He goes there because his friend ends up passing away during the war, and he made a promise to him that he would go and meet his family and take care of them. Because of this, the family takes him in and he basically becomes their guest in their home. Now, going into this movie, I really didn't know what to expect. I heard a lot of great things about it, but I really did not watch a trailer, did not read the synopsis to the movie. I didn't know nothing going to this movie. I just wanted to go in completely blindly and just enjoy it for what it had to offer. And I have to say, the first two acts of this movie was absolutely excellent. I was so into this movie that it reminded me of another film that I really liked called Drive. I don't know if you guys ever heard of this film. I absolutely adore this film. And I have to say, the first two acts of this movie reminded me of Drive. Not only because of the way the movie was, but the music in the movie reminded me a lot of the soundtrack to Drive. And also Dan Stevens reminded me a lot of Ryan Gosling in the way he acted and just the character that he was playing. This reminded me a lot of the character that Ryan Gosling played in Drive. So overall, I really enjoyed the first two acts. But then the third act happened, and that's when the movie just crashed and burned, and all that love I was having with the movie while watching it during the first two acts just kind of disappeared on me. And the reason for that is, for me, the movie felt like it just stopped caring. Like the director and just everybody involved into the movie, the writers, once they got to the third act, they just got bored of the movie, and they just didn't want to explain why everything that was taking place during the first and second act was happening in a way that was creative and interesting, because the way they explained why things were happening the way they were made me feel like at one point in the movie I blinked and I completely missed why things were happening the way they were. And it's not because I didn't understand the movie, because the movie is easy to follow. It's not because of that. It just felt like the third act was just completely lazy writing. It was unoriginal as to why everything was happening the way it was, and it was so unfortunate that the third act was like that. At least for me, that's how I saw it, because I was really enjoying the first two acts of the movie. I was just overall so into this film. All the actors were great. I was liking where they were going with the story. I loved the music. I thought, again, Dan Stevens was absolutely excellent. He was just so great in the role. Like, I would love to see him in more movies because he was such a good actor and he portrayed this character so well, and there were some great scenes with him. There's this one particular scene of him in the bar that was just so good, and there was a lot of really good redeeming qualities in this movie. I'm saying, like, the first and second act was just flawless. Third act completely just brought down the whole movie down for me, unfortunately. So overall, I definitely recommend this movie to everybody to check out, because whatever I felt towards this movie because of the third act, other people might see it differently, and maybe some people will feel exactly the way I felt towards this movie, at least when it comes to the third act. But overall, I did enjoy this movie, but again, the third act just wasn't there for me, unfortunately. So that is my review of The Guest. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. The Duff is directed by Ari Sandel. It stars Mae Whitman, Robbie Namel, Allison Janney, and a bunch of other very talented actresses, not so many actors. Now, the premise of the story follows a character played by Mae Whitman, who is named Bianca. She is what is considered the Duff of her group. For those who don't know what Duff means, it's not Hillary Duff, and it's not Duff beer. Duff means